Hey guys, welcome to another week, another teaser. So this one will be from the 24th until the 28th of August 2026. Let's see what we have coming up on Monday. Eunice develops an instant crush on Mr. Q upon meeting him. This is kind of a tricky situation now because I think that's her little sister. Yeah, I think that's her little sister, and now you have the little sister and the sister who is not even aware of the situation, and it's like, I really like what the writers are doing here. We move from so you they're almost extending that teacher and learner kind of storyline as to how it can actually get complicated when something like this happens, when you have one of the siblings who's the adult sibling who is also falling for the same guy. So there's also that dynamic that might happen. So this is what I like about this story. It just didn't sit on just the teacher learner kind of thing, but they even went further as exploring the implications of something like that. Stanley is gutted when he loses his job. I mean, his lawyer, like I've been saying, he was there for he had his own agenda, and he really messed everything up for him. But what I also like about this, there's the Stanley storyline with Kwesi and whatnot. We got to have this. Feels like a fresh storyline for me. It's like something that they have never done before, and it's credit to the writers. I like what I'm seeing here. I like how this is developing and how everything is happening. Tuesday, Mr. Q manipulates a learner to get his way. That will always be the case. That will always be the case when you have an adult and a minor. The adult will always manipulate the situation because they are the adult. They come on. It's like, come on. Stanley lands a job with Kwesi's nemesis, Lehasa. I will assume it's Lehasa. So I'm not gonna add much there. I like how this is developing also, that is now tying, or what's the word that I'm looking for? So you almost have this thing that started off as this, but now it branches off into other storylines. So this was nicely done. Big up to the writers. Wednesday, Elena feels crushed when Mr. Q gives her the cold shoulder after spending a night together. That was the plan. Once you close the case, there's no need to be, there's no need to even do it, none of that, because that was never the play. The play was, it's from this to this. Once you get to this, then there's, but of course there are consequences to everything. So I can't wait to see what the learner will start doing now to make sure she gets his attention back, because that will be her next play, and he wouldn't want that. So it will be interesting to see. A common enemy forges an unlikely alliance between two men. A common enemy. Who could this be? Between two men, who could this be? Okay, I have no idea here, so I'm just gonna skip it. Mr. Q starts to regret getting involved with someone so immature. There's a reason why they are called minors. There's a reason why they're not allowed to sign a legally binding document. There's a reason why they're not allowed to be interrogated by anyone without the presence of an adult. There's a reason. So when you want to put yourself in that situation, deal with a minor, you can't expect them to be mature. You can't, unless you just focus on your own emotions or feelings or wants and whatever, but you cannot expect them of a minor. Kwezi is shaken by an unexpected alliance. Okay, so what I'm thinking it's happening. This whoever they're talking about here, who are forging the alliance between two men. I think it's either Lehasa, Stanley. Who could be the other one? The one who's forging this. And also I think Peterson might also get wrapped or get involved with this. So I'm suspecting that whatever this is something to do with those characters. Friday, Mr. Q buys an expensive gift for unsuspecting Lena. I was going to think that maybe this is the Lena that he's now ghosting, that he's trying to shut him out. But by reading this, it sounds like this is a different Lena, and my guess would be Musibiadi. I'm guessing this is now Musibiadi, because remember that's where the guy was going in the first place, but because he got the most attention from the Eunice's little sister, then he had to divert a little from the mission, but the mission still remains. The mission still remains, and that's why I believe this is Musibiadi. Stanley earns praise from his new bosses while rubbing his colleagues the wrong way. I just like how this is developing and going. That's all I can say. It's, to me, it feels like a fresh storyline. It's not something that you get to see or experience more often, especially with Skeem Saam. I don't believe ever that we ever had a storyline where it was to do with employees, where you have a workspace, you have employees going through things. I believe this is, I understand to be corrected, but I believe this is the first for Skeem Saam. This is why I say it feels fresh, and I like what they're doing here. And that was it for this week. So the two storylines that I'm looking forward to is Mr. Q and Stanley, to see where this is going. Outside of that, I don't think there's really anything else for me that I'll be like, okay, I'm interested in. So in any case, without wasting any time, just rambling and saying nothing, a lot of nothing. So I'm gonna close it here. So until next week, I'm Young, I'm out.